293 Aphorism Organon of Medicine. I find it necessary to allude here to animal magnetism as it is termed, or rather mesmerism, as it should be called out of gratitude of Mesmer, its first founder, which differs so much in its nature from all other therapeutic agents. This curative power, often so stupidly denied, which streams upon a patient by the contact of a well intentioned person, powerfully exerting his will, either acts homeopathically by the production of symptoms similar to those of the diseased state to be cured, and for this purpose a single pass made without much exertion of the will with the palms of the hands, not too slowly, from the top of the head downwards over the body to the tips of the toes, is serviceable in, for instance, uterine hemorrhages, even in the last stage when death seems approaching, or it is useful by distributing the vital force uniformly throughout the organism when it is in abnormal excess in one part and deficient in other parts. For example, in rush of blood to the head and sleepless, anxious restlessness of weakly persons, by means of a similar single but somewhat stronger pass, or for the immediate communication and restoration of the vital force to some one weakened part or to the whole organism, an object that cannot be attained so certainly and with so little interference with the other medicinal treatment by any other agent besides mesmerism. If it is wished to supply a particular part with the vital force, this is effected by concentrating a very powerful and well intentioned will for the purpose and placing the hands or tips of the fingers on the chronically weakened parts, whither an internal chronic dyscrasia has transferred its important local symptom, as for example in the case of old ulcers, amaurosis, paralysis of certain limbs. Many rapid apparent cures performed in all ages by mesmerizers endowed with great natural power belong to this class. The effect of communicated human power upon the whole human organism was most brilliantly shown in the resuscitation of the persons who had lain sometime apparently dead by the most powerful sympathetic will of a man in full vigor of vital force, and of this kind of resurrection history records many undeniable examples. Footnote 1. The smallest homeopathic dose, which however often effects wonders when used on proper occasions, imperfect homeopathists who think themselves monstrously clever not infrequently deluge their patients in difficult diseases with doses of different medicines given rapidly one after the other, which, although they may have been homeopathically selected and given a highly potentized attenuation, bring the patients into such an overexcited state that life and death are struggling for the mastery, and the least additional quantity of medicine would infallibly kill them. In such case, a mere gentle mesmeric pass and the frequent application for a short time of the hand of a well intentioned person to the part that is particularly affected produce the harmonious uniform distribution of the vital force throughout the organism, and therewith rest, sleep, and recovery. Footnote 2. Although by this restoration of the vital force, which ought to be repeated from time to time, no permanent cure can be effected in cases where, as has been taught above, a general internal dyscrasia lies at the root of the old local affection, as it always does, yet this positive strengthening and immediate saturation with vital force which no more belongs to the category of palliatives than does eating and drinking when hunger and thirst are present, is no mean auxiliary to the actual treatment of the whole disease by homeopathic medicines. Footnote 3. Especially of one of those persons of whom there are not many who, along with great kindness of disposition and perfect bodily powers, possesses but a very moderate desire for sexual intercourse, which it would give him very little trouble wholly to suppress, in whom consequently all the fine vital spirits that would otherwise be employed in the preparation of the semen are ready to be communicated to others by touching them and powerfully exerting the will. Some powerful mesmerizers with whom I have become acquainted had all this peculiar character.